Well, got a guy on a motorcycle outside shooting people. Welcome to America. All right, first question is from the Buttered Fist. I don't even want to know, man. Unless I've missed some important news, I was wondering what happened to the Inbox.exe videos. I really enjoyed watching Logan drink some beer and go off on some long tangent, which wasn't relevant to the actual question. Hey, that reminds me of this one time. Well, never mind. Plus, I felt it was a bit more lighthearted than the regular scheduled tech. This is not to say that I do not... Thanks, keep up the good work. Yep. We've decided not to do the inboxes anymore. In fact, that's it. They're done. They're gone. They're not going to be coming back. And as you can see here, I'm not drinking beer. I'm drinking coffee. So this is actually going to be very uptight. Yeah, like stick up the ass uptight. Terrible.
This is in fact not inbox right now.
No, this is and you guys can't see it, but I've changed, and I'm now wearing khaki pants with a pleat right down the middle, crease right down the middle. Yeah, it's bad. I mean, it's bad. This place is going corporate fast. All right, moving on to the next question. Logan, what kind of hair gel do you use? Question was short enough to type in the subject. That's from Squid Blaster. All right, Squid Blaster. I actually use a combination of bear fat and whale blubber mixed up with some, well, it depends on what the scent of the day is going to be. Usually just nothing. Just hair-scented hair gel. It's not even gel. I don't use gel. It's what, like, bros use, man. Got my frosted tips and my gel. I don't use none of that stuff, man. I don't know what I use in my hair. I just put something in there. It's like a pomade or something. And I only do that when it's humid out in the wintertime. I just let it go. Insane rooster, like when I wake up in the morning, it's just whatever it's doing, I like do this to it once. And why is everybody so curious about my hair? This is what it does. It kind of just does this. That's what, if I leave it alone, it does this. I should grow it out again. I think I'm going to grow it out.
Flock of seagulls.
Yeah. I think I'm going to grow it out nice and long. And my beard, too. You know, I've been wanting to, like, grow it out really long and then just go to a bunch of job interviews that I don't, jobs that I don't even really need. I just want to go to, like, professional job interviews with a really, really, really long hair and a really long beard tucked into my pants. Like, just walk in the door with my hair and my beard tucked into my pants. So, yeah. Okay, next question. Let's just keep moving on. Let's get serious here. Oh, this is very serious. This is from Mofo Jofo. I almost couldn't say that because it was so simple. Mofo Jofo. All right. Forum platform. Hi, Logan, Wendell, and the rest of the crew. I'm going to read this in a very serious tone. I had a question for you guys that I would love answered. I'm a huge fan of the community, but I feel like the forums, we put two F's there, you stutter when you type, the forums on the site are somewhat outdated. Have you guys considered using something like Discourse as a forum for the site? Thanks for being awesome. In fact, we did think about Discourse for a little while, and we thought about some of the alternatives to Discourse. We are still considering one that allows you to run your own instance of it. I forgot what it's called, damn it. But the problem, my problem with those is I don't like allowing someone else to have access, or so I don't like building our house on someone else's soil, if you know what I mean. Like with Discourse, you have to use their servers and pay them a monthly fee. If I'm thinking about the right thing, Discourse is the one that does that. There's another one I can't think of. I don't remember.
There's Discourse and Discuss, which are confusingly similar but different.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. There's one more that I can't remember. We looked at it for a little while and thought it might be interesting, but the thing about our forum platform is it's not actually a forum platform. It's an installation of Drupal, which is a modern platform. But the forums, you pretty much have to put them together yourself. They're kind of lacking in features. Not to say that they can't be full featured. You just have to kind of do it all yourself. And we just we put the thing together, and yeah, it could use a few things. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the answer. I don't know where I'm going with that. The problem would be implementing it and having the time and money to do it. So
we totally agree that we could do there's another post on the forum that's like the tech team, and so if you want to do a Bootstrap version 3 design like makeover for the site, ultra minimal. There's some guidelines there. If you want to work on that, I suggest you go participate in the thread, and you can volunteer, and we will build it. There's actually a lot of stuff underneath the hood on the forums. It's pretty much got all the feature parity with like PHP BB or vBulletin. In terms of features, we just don't expose all the features on the front end, because when we were building it, it was like, we're going to go ultra minimal, and then it was like, well, we probably should have experience, and we probably should have the date that we joined, and we probably should have all this other stuff, but we really didn't organize the UI as well as we should have. And the site has got some age on it now, and so we are working on that on the back end as far as the functionality goes. And that's some of the site speed improvement and things like that have been us cleaning that up, sort of behind the scenes. But if you want to help us with the visuals and the redesign and the super minimalism, by all means, go participate. I encourage you. We will rally the troops and make it so. If you can, I mean, we can build whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, we could do it. We could do an Angular, purely Angular forum with Drupal as a backend, because we can do that. But it's just level of effort, and do we have some volunteers that are skilled and will donate their time to do this?
We should make that happen. Were your guys already working on anything that we could start on, or maybe you could add a couple people to that team? Because I think you had some guys that were working on a new Bootstrap 3 thing or whatever, right?
Yes. Well, we've already moved from Bootstrap 2 to Bootstrap 3. No one noticed. Yay, that's good, yay. Because I guess we didn't break anything. But we really need to do a visual makeover and some other stuff. But all of the back-end stuff will produce Bootstrap 3 things really easily now. So we can, it's like, wrap this in a, call MD4 container and wrap this in a whatever container. We can do that really quickly now. And so now it's like, all right, we need to figure out how we actually want to change it. So
there's a lot of areas here that we could fix up and all that kind of stuff. I mean, this thing, like what you guys see on the screen right now, most of this style came from stuff that I put together for version 1 of the website while Wendell was working on the uber nerdy stuff. Like really behind the scenes, the back end. I was working on the CSS, and we started with blank, basically a blank Notepad++ document, and did the entire theme that way in Bootstrap.
Bootstrap had not been invented. We actually did our own 1140 grid that was completely custom.
We did everything. It was ridiculous. And then after that, so it looks almost identical to what we originally created. In fact, people on day one are going to notice that a few things are a little sleeker and better. But this is the ugly theme that I created, and then one of Wendell's guys went in there and redid it in Bootstrap and fixed a few of the rough edges. But this is still, I mean, I'm a terrible when it comes to style. You know what I mean? I'm like, my style is like a rusted old beat up Russian machine. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool looking, but that's not, what is easy to use. So yeah, we could probably use a few ideas too. If you guys have ideas of even like thematical ideas, you guys can post if you want to Photoshop something up to give us some ideas. We may or may not use all of it, but sometimes it may spark something and be like, oh, that is a good idea. We could do this and that and that and this, and it would make things easier to use and all that. But our style is going to be purely minimal and functional. So keep that in mind while you're playing.
Mock-up is worth 1,000 words. I mean, anybody can critique, but we need stuff we can use. We need HTML. I can make something in Photoshop, but whether or not, the thing you made in Photoshop is actually possible in reality, Bootstrap HTML is probably not too much to ask.
Yeah. All right, guys. So yeah, let us know. And this is really a one thing I want to say about this, because a lot of people, we do get a lot of criticism, like, other forums that they use a pre-built software. Well, we don't use pre-built software. We're building our own thing here. Of course, Drupal's pre-built, but you know what I mean. We don't use a canned forum software. And we are doing this for the community, and we're asking for your help. So this is really going to be, this can be anything you guys want it to be. And we can all work together on it.
If there exists a forum software that's not based on Ruby, because Ruby.
Because Ruby.
If there exists a forum software that is not based on Ruby, but can reasonably easily be integrated with Drupal and follows proper design paradigms, then we would not be opposed to looking at that. But the thing that we really like about the site and the long-term plans that we have is really tight integration with user functions like the blog functionality, which a lot of people use, and we have guest bloggers and that sort of thing doing articles. But we really want the tight integration between comments on articles and comments on the site and the forum functionality. That's one of the, like, hard OCP. Those guys are old school. That's a really great forum. It's a really great community. Their forum is separate from their site, and so they do an article, and then there's a link at the end of the article that's like, go comment here, and then there's a corresponding thread in the forum. That's an okay way to do that, but
I find
we'd
it
like
clunky.
it to be we'd like it to be just a little bit better.
That's the way Raise the World was. Back in the day, Raise the World was like it was the hard OCP model. We had all of the stuff on a WordPress installation, and then we were using BBPress because it was kind of compatible with WordPress. This was like BBPress, alpha, and so it wasn't really integrated. Even you had to do a lot of your own crap to make it integrated. But yeah, it automatically posted in the forum, and we had double content, and it was really weird. And some of that content is lingering even in our database now, because when we did the import, so there's double content. There's content from the forum, content from the regular articles, but. So I don't think that's a very elegant solution. I like the fact that with Drupal we can have all of the content everywhere, and it sees everything as just content. It doesn't different content types, of course, but there's just content. You can put a view anywhere you want. I like that. Just for, yeah.
And the transition to Drupal 8 is going to be really amazing. Drupal has got a pretty steep learning curve, and out of the box, Drupal is basically crap. It's more a programming framework than anything that you get, super useful out of the box. And a lot of the contributed modules are also crap. But the API is awesome, and it's pretty easy to develop for once you're in the right mindset.
Yeah.
We've got, we did an API for a mobile application. That's the other thing with this redesign, is that we want to do a much more mobile friendly, much more lightweight, minimal template that works a lot better on mobile, because we get a lot of mobile traffic. But we don't want to do a mobile app, because why would you do a mobile app when you're going to get almost as good of an experience on a ton more devices, having it just mobile HTML friendly. Even the advanced JavaScript frameworks. I mean, we would never do jQuery mobile, but just like jQuery mobile, for example, you could do one HTTP request page reloads, which you could not get an app better than that. An app that's doing, one API call to the server, and whatever your image assets are, those don't count. You can do that with jQuery mobile, and an application would be exactly as much round trip stuff at the protocol level, and you automatically get any device that supports jQuery as opposed to only Android or only iOS. But we actually did build an API that's JSON for doing for doing videos and for doing forum posts and things like that. But and we set up a GitHub repo, but I don't know that anybody ever checked in any fully working code. It's like, oh, this project's going to involve work and some back and forth. Well, abandon ship. So that's what happens sometimes.
All right. That was a pretty big answer, and I hope that satisfied everybody out there. And maybe we can put this whole thing to rest of what's up with the forum. So you guys
well, hey, if you want to volunteer, by all means. But it's going to be real work. It's going to be it's going to be totally Mr. Miyagi. I'm going to be Mr. Miyagi. And you better be glad that I'm not Pai Mei. Because I could be Pai Mei, but I'm going to be Mr. Miyagi.
I'll send you guys a t-shirt, all right? I'll send you guys a t-shirt and a mug or whatever else. All right. Epic Pants Store, speaking of t-shirts and mug and everything. The question is, I was wondering if the Epic Pants Store is ever going to have other forms of payment. I've been wanting to buy some stuff since credit cards are so uncommon where I live. I was wondering if PayPal will come available. Not one goddamn piece of punctuation in that entire thing, dude. God. Yeah, man, I would love for Squarespace. Please, Squarespace, listen. Are you listening, Squarespace? PayPal, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin, TechCoin. Please accept those things. Come on, man. And Stripe. Okay, if you're just going to keep with the Stripe integration, Stripe. Get with the freaking times, man. Bitcoin, Litecoin, other coin, altcoin of up your ass, whatever. I don't know. Whatever altcoin, your favorite altcoin, just that one. And PayPal would be nice too for the overseas people without credit cards. I get lots and lots and lots of emails. I've actually been taking no, I'm not going to tell anyone that. I've taken 2 or 3 large PayPal orders from people overseas, but they better be like 10 t-shirts or something, because it's very difficult for me to put together a PayPal order myself, and then I have to call the warehouse and be like, make sure you send all these items here. So anyway, I've done it a couple times for people.
Does Squarespace have the coupon thing? Is that rolled out of beta? Because you could create coupons for items in the store and then if somebody wants to do Bitcoin or whatever, we could just handle it manually. And you give them the coupon, and they still have to deal with everything. And in that way, the warehouse will handle everything normally.
That's one thing we can look into. The other thing, you can do manual integration of PayPal, but we have the same problem. The warehouse is going to have to look over everything manually, and that can lead to trouble. Right now, when you buy a shirt, it takes a shirt out of inventory, and if we have all these PayPal transactions occurring, which I don't think that it'll be just a few, I think it'll be a lot of PayPal transactions, and there'll be a lot of shirts being taken out of inventory. If they don't manually go and update the inventories on a regular basis on Squarespace, we're going to have a problem where we start selling things that we don't actually have. And if it's something that's, if we sell like one shirt and they're out of print, it's going to be a huge hassle for the guys in the warehouse to like go and get the screen and make, get the inks all ready just for one shirt. That's going to cost them a lot of money. It's going to be a huge hassle, and I'm not going to put them through it. I value their time, and I don't think that they would appreciate if I did stuff like that. So I really want to find a more elegant solution, Squarespace, that allows people to use these alternate forms of payment, Squarespace. And, I love Squarespace, but seriously, guys, we got to get it an elegant working solution. They've improved in so many different ways, but this is such a basic functionality that all the stores on Squarespace could benefit from immensely. And I'm not sure if there's some deal with Stripe that, it's disallowing this or something, but yeah, I don't know. We would like the options, please. All right. What else do we have here? I'll answer this one quickly. Thinking about buying Mayflower Fostex, and I need help thinking about buying. I really love these speakers. Yes, I don't even know how you say that. I TMA One Studios. However, the headband broke twice. I'm gonna skip through this. He's looking at the Mayflower Fostex version 3, and he makes music. And I listened to some of his music earlier. It's not bad. Not my cup of tea, but not bad. It's got a lot of bass. Sir, you're using DJ headphones, and they've broken a couple of times. And you're looking at the Fostex version 3. So here's the deal. The Fostex version 3 are bass cannons. It looks like your headphones as well. I haven't used or heard those headphones, but I looked up the frequency response graph. It looks like those are bass cannons as well. So you've got two bass cannons here. And I do think the Fostex version 3s are probably going to give you a little bit more clarity in the mid and highs, but they are super bassy. The bass for me drowns out a bit of the clarity in the midtones. So they're not my choice, but people who love DJ style music, rap, hip hop, and all that kind of thing. I don't know, anything with a beat, electronic music, EDM or whatever. They do like the Mayflower version 3s. However, you said that you make music. Now here's my problem with using these to make music. They do not give you a flat response curve. So you're making your music with these bass cannons, and you're hearing more bass than is actually there. So the music I said actually a lot. Okay, so actually the music that you make is not going to end up having as much bass when you hand it to someone else who has a regular pair of headphones that are not bass cannons. So in order to reproduce the sound, everyone's going to have the same headphones. That's why people typically use a studio reference headset that has the most flat frequency response curve you can find. So that way, you make your music that way. People are going to have different experiences based upon the headphones that they have, but you really want to make your music with as flat of a response curve as possible. So a compromise. Let's talk about a compromise. The Mayflower Fostex version 1 have good bass, like nice pumping bass. Not as much. They're not cannons. They're not bass cannons. Decent mids and nice sparkly highs. So for me, I think they're really good for rock and roll because they give you some crunch in the high notes, but also they can be good for electronic music that also has some treble. You got to have some treble to balance out that bass, man, or else you'll be in trouble. Don't want to be in trouble. So I would probably go for those, but I always preach the Fostex version 1. Version 2 is like the most analytical version. So if you want, they're not very fun to listen to, in my opinion. They're too analytical. Anyway, the last question you say is, do you really need an amp for those? And yeah, you really do. You really do have to have an amp. If you plug them in without an amp, they're going to be quiet, and you are not going to get the same booming response out of these headphones. I've tried it with different things, and you plug them into an amp, and they come to life. These are orthodynamic headphones. They're a little different than the standard headphones you get out there on the market. Even though when you look at it, if you don't know how to read the specs, you'll think that it doesn't need that much power. They actually do. All right, so that's what I would do. But if you want the sound to be almost the same as your old headphones, go ahead and get the version 3. Question for you now, Wendell. That was my question. MySQL 2014 or possibly 2012 R2 server build suggestions. It looks like this is an imminent question. So I have a hardware implementation meeting on Monday for deciding how we are going to set up the production servers for my company's SharePoint 2013 installation. At the moment, we are thinking of setting up a physical MS SQL 2014 server. HP Blade. I asked the project manager what specs for the server, and he said it's a big server with 256 gigs of RAM. So it's a gig of RAM, he says. We might end up using MySQL 2012 R2 because our current backup software doesn't integrate with MySQL 2014. Or should I say MySQL, or I always just say SQL? What do you prefer? SQL? I don't know.
Well, Microsoft pronounces it SQL, but MySQL is just MySQL. And MySQL is a different product than Microsoft SQL. So this is MS SQL, but it's whatever.
Yeah, the rest of this thing is on the screen. It's a huge question. He's mainly worried about backward compatibility with MS SQL 2014. He wants to use 2014 because that has some new features, but Wendell, I'll let you just talk about this for a moment.
Basically, the question boils down to their backup software doesn't support MS SQL 2014 as well as it supports MS SQL 2012 R2. I'm going to tell you, go ahead and go with SQL 2014 because, I mean, if you need this kind of performance with SharePoint, they added support for SQL 2014, I think, in March or April of this year. That might have been the beta version. It might have been as late as May. I can't remember off the top of my head. I probably should have researched this. Long story short, you want to use SQL 2014. It's really not a big deal to configure some options outside of your backup solution. If this is this important to you, set up a replica, set up a server where you're not handling it at the backup level. You've just got another instance of SQL 2014 that you're log shipping to. You can also do transactional or point in time shipping so that, an hour ago or 2 hours ago. What you really got to think about is what is the failure mode of SQL going to be? Is somebody going to get access to your database and start dropping tables, and then it's like, oh, we don't know what's going on. We need to roll back. If you lose an hour of work, what's the cost on that? Because if the cost is really high and it's a headache, you need to upgrade your backup software. If the backup software doesn't support SQL 2014, you need to get on their beta program because I guarantee you they're testing it internally. So I don't really see that as insurmountable. Me personally, using the tools that are in SQL 2014 to schedule, hourly snapshots and dumping it, and then getting rid of the old ones, I think that would be fine. I mean, it's hard for me to imagine a scenario where you've only got a single SQL server that hourly snapshots wouldn't be enough. Because if something more important than hourly is happening, you really need a cluster, or you really need multiple SQL servers. It doesn't have to be like an active type situation with SQL server. You can have another SQL server that you're just shipping the transactions to. That would be fine. But it's not that there's anything wrong with 2012 R2. It's just that 2014, it looks like it's shaping up to look like it's so much better. They did deprecate a lot of things in SQL 2014 that versus 2012 R2, but a lot of those things are legacy, so I can't imagine that would affect you guys either. So the only other thing with this server is what's its I/O capabilities, because it's got 256 gigs of RAM, but if it's only got like 4 15K hard drives, you're gonna have problems. So, that it's not just that. You need I/O throughput. You need to let us know more about how large your data set is in SharePoint, because most of the time the failure mode for SharePoint is not like a table has disappeared or something like that has happened. It's that you really need to go back to yesterday or the day before, because the failure mode is sort of incremental. It's not like it suddenly stops working with no warning. It's an unusual failure mode for SharePoint. Usually it's, this table has gotten so large that it now takes 20 minutes to do whatever, or this table has gotten so fragmented that the SQL server just throws its hands up in the air and doesn't really know what to do because it hasn't been defragging properly or whatever. Maybe you've got solid state storage in that 256 gig server. I don't know. But yeah, so hopefully that was a useful answer.
All right, well, that means I have to get this video online by Sunday to make sure. We're doing it just for you, man. We're going to get it online by Sunday so that you can have this before you go to your meeting on Monday. And you can even bring up the video and make them watch the whole thing, though. You know, just to make sure. You'll probably get fired if you do that. All right, so we have two questions here about, our production stuff. Logan, update on the camera and recording equipment. Lynn, I saw your video. You did answer the inbox question of your equipment and noticed it was a little dated since then. And I know you guys have a Mark III now. Actually, we have a Panasonic GH4, but there's a Mark III floating around somewhere. So we're going to make a video on this very soon. Next question is, how is the tech recorded? Hi, guys. Love to watch the tech. I watch and rewatch your shows often. I see the Inbox.exe is 30, etc. I'd like to hear more about the setup. Is okay. All right. I'll say this really quickly, but we'll actually make a video on all this stuff in the next couple of months before the end of the year. We plan on doing this. It's on our list of things to do. So here, right now, I'm looking at a GH4 with a Samyang 12mm lens, which is actually a 24mm lens because of the 2x crop factor. It's capturing 4K downsampling in the camera to 1080p through a cord that goes over to the computer to an AverMedia Live Capture HD straight into Open Broadcaster, where I have a few hotkeys set up. A lot of you guys will see me over here tapping things. I'm going back and forth between myself, the screen with Windows Feed on it, and there's Windows Feed as well. Cutting over to Wendell. Wendell has a GoPro mounted on a tripod with a HDMI cord going into an AverMedia Live Capture HD. We were using Google Hangouts for a while, but it had the stupid Google logo on the bottom. It was also a Google service, and the sound and audio quality was not up to par, so Wendell created his own streaming server, and then he streams using Open Broadcaster. He streams to his own streaming server, and then I just open up that URL, which a lot of you guys have been pinging like idiots. Stop it, because it was on the screen one time. And then I open that URL, and that becomes Wendell's feed. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And we have our microphones here, of course, that we answered, and we're going to be answering very soon. If you guys want to get a little nerdier about all this, we'll have some videos coming up soon that get down to the specifications of everything from the tripod that we're using, the lenses that we have around here, the lenses that we use for different purposes. And also, as far as the lighting goes, I have two China balls hanging off of over here in the corners, two like China balls with daylight balanced light bulbs, and back here behind me there's a desk lamp, one of those Pixar style desk lamps, just pointed up, shining light. Wendell has two soft boxes over there, and then a bunch of track lights on the ceiling as well. So all right, that's a very fast answer to that question. I think I pretty much covered it. Did I miss anything?
Yeah.
Oh, you got a Canon 7D, yeah.
Although, if Panasonic is watching, send me a GH4 because reasons.
Yeah. I like the GH4, and I actually like the 2x crop factor for videos of this nature because I like to be able to open up the iris. Well, with this one, it's a 2.0 lens, but I like to be able to open up that, or I like to be able to stop it, all the way to 2.0 or whatever. But I doing that with a full frame camera, you don't get as I guess you get, was it not enough depth of field? I always say it backwards, but yeah, the background is just too blurry and you don't have enough room to move. Whereas with this one, you have a little bit more. It's not as good for movies, but it's better for product videos and stuff like this. So I actually like the 2x crop factor. You do get a little bit more noise on the sensor, but whatever. It looks really good to me. All right, where's my mouse? Oh yeah, one other thing. Whenever I'm traveling, I use the X Capture 1. It's a USB 3 capture unit from Japan, and it is awesome. It is almost as good as the AverMedia. Actually, I've had fewer issues with it, but it's got a slight bit of latency. As long as you tune for that, I think it was like 370 milliseconds of latency. As long as you tune for that, as far as your microphone and stuff goes, it's great. That's what I used when I was out there doing the tech with Paul. We did it into a laptop, and it performed perfectly. So I use that a lot. We also use it for Castles and Crusades whenever we stream that using the laptop. All right, affiliate codes. We've got some affiliate codes. They're there in the tech support. That was the answer to that question. That was terrible. You want affiliate codes in Italy? Yeah, I should go do that. I need Amazon.it the translation thing wasn't working the last time I was there, so I was having a really hard time like filling out all the forms on the Italian version of Amazon. So, yeah, sorry. It's also very difficult to get paid for those because they cut you a check unless you have a bank account in that country. They cut you a check, and then I run down to the local branch, and the check is usually like the last one I got from the UK was like 70 pounds or something, right? So I run down to the bank, and they're like, "Ooh, sir, it must total $200 US," and I'm like, well, "What am I supposed to do with this check then?" Like, we don't know, sir. Ooh, that's a bummer, you know. It was.
We're just gonna
like,
keep your money. It's cool.
I kept the check, but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to fly. I'm gonna spend $1,000 flying over to the UK, staying a night, going to a pub, hanging out, just so I can run into a bank locally and cash it. That's brilliant. Who wants to hang out? I'll be there. I've got 70 pounds of check to cash, and then we'll probably spend it at the pub. All right. Last question. Games that have disappointed you from Larnook. Larnook is a great name. You need to be something more than Larnook, I think. How about Larnook of the Tolmac Nebula? Yes, you are Larnook of the Tolmac Nebula from now on. Tolmac, third star on the right, straight on till morning. All right. That's how you get there. Yours would be Diablo 3. Did you have time to think about this yet, or should I go ahead and answer this one?
There's so many games. There's so many. It's what
Our
level of disappointment?
Yeah, our expectations are through the roof. Well, one of the reasons my expectations are so high because I get really excited about some games. I don't have a lot of time for games, and then when I actually do get ready to sit down and play a game, if it's like not like exactly what I hoped it would be, I'm like, oh man, I installed this stupid piece of crap and all that. It sucks. Recently that happened a couple of times. It was to a lesser extent with Dishonored. I enjoyed a lot of Dishonored, but I expected it to be like Thief meets sneaky awesome game. I don't know. I expected it to be a little less linear and a little bit more. It was a good game. It didn't blow me away. I was expected to be. I was really expecting to be really blown away. I guess the plot was kind of whatever. But the game recently that I was just kind of like whatever, man, was I can't even remember the name. The Watch Dogs. I was really looking forward to Watch Dogs. I saw it and I was like, ooh, Deus Ex disappointed me. The new one, Human Revolution. I was like, that was a fun game. I played it through all the way to the end. Fun. Nowhere near the original Deus Ex. But I expected this to be better than that. I was like, oh, this looks great. It could be the thing. And I started playing it, and I was like, this is kind of stupid. I really didn't care for it much. It was very whatever, like very whatever. There's too many things in that game were just ridiculous. Like jumping into the water when you have the cops chasing you, and then the cops, as soon as you jump in the water, the cops were like, oh, well, he's gone. Where is he? I don't know. He just killed some guy. Just rampaged through town killing people. Drove a car into a building. Just hacked a bunch of stuff. Caused traffic accidents. He jumps in the water. We've lost him. Stuff like that was just really annoying. It just broke all immersion. And I know the original Deus Ex had some AI bugs, and you guys can go crazy about that. But, yeah, nothing like that. Anyway, that was the biggest recent disappointment. And it was a big AAA title that I probably shouldn't have been excited for. But I wanted it to be awesome so much. It probably is an okay game. I just wanted it to be way better. I've been playing exclusively indie games recently and old Nintendo games and ROMs and stuff. I really enjoy jumping into a lot of people like, oh, you're not allowed to play ROMs because you're a PC gamer. You're not allowed to play Nintendo games. I can play whatever I want on my own damn PC. You can't tell me what I can and can't play. I don't have anything against games in general. I have things against consoles and the exclusivity clubs and all that nonsense. Join the PC Master Race. That's my favorite exclusivity club. Even though we'd like to be an inclusivity club, I'll help you guys build a PC. That was a rant. See, I did it. I did exactly what the guy here, I did what the Buttered Fist said I was going to do. I went off on 17 tangents trying to be succinct, and it didn't work. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you something that's interesting is the Wolfenstein, Return to the new Wolfenstein that came out. That was disappointing. but it wasn't. It was surprising. It was not disappointing in the ways that I expected it to be disappointing, and so it had some redeeming qualities. Not really so much around gameplay, but in terms of like an engine demo, the texture pop was not nearly as bad as it was in previous games, and I was doing something ridiculous. I was playing it at 4K on a GTX 770, which is kind of insane if you think about it. And it actually held its own. It actually did okay, except for texture pop. It was basically playable. I think my frame rate was around 30 frames per second. I think it dipped as low as 20, which is, I would really much rather it be like 40, 50 frames per second, 60 frames per second, somewhere through there.
Yeah, that's like console mode right there. But wait a second. At least it was a cinematic experience.
But it was at 4K, which was crazy, and that actually worked really well. I really think that they screwed up the story. The story could have been a lot better. It's like the Star Trek Nemesis. The premise for the story is amazing. The execution was just terrible. The premise for the story in the Wolfenstein movie or in the game was pretty good. The execution was really terrible. Not really
I bet terrible, I know.
But they could have done better.
I think I know another one that may be an answer, maybe one of your answers, the standalone DayZ. Was that a disappointment for you?
Oh, yeah, that was... Yeah, if I think about that too much, I'm going to have an aneurysm.
Yeah, it was sad. I mean, I didn't really play DayZ that much, but I remember you just vanished for about a week, and you basically created a platoon out of all the guys who work downstairs. I remember coming down there in the evenings. I'm like, why is everyone still here? Isn't it? It's like 7 o'clock. Why is he drinking on the job? Oh, you guys are all hanging out at work playing DayZ. That's why you put GPUs into those workstations. No, it all makes sense. I mean, that's why you put gaming GPUs in there. And they can render, can't they? They can render. Yeah, I know what's up.
Well, we modified the GTX. Well, way back in the day, we modified the GTX 8800s to be quadras, and which was amazing. That worked really well.
Oh, yeah. And then the NVIDIA got wise to that. They're like, hey, wait a minute. There's guys out there with IQs above 130.
Yeah. It's like, what? Let's make it to where you can't do that anymore. It's like, damn it. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, well.
And they're largely getting away with it these days. It's just terrible. It's very bad. I never even played Watch Dogs because of the whole Ubisoft thing, so I didn't buy it or anything, and I probably won't as long as it's got all the crap. So there haven't really been many games that I've bought lately that are not indie games.
Albert and I played a few games last night, indie games. We played Broforce. I haven't actually played that because I wanted to sit down and play with somebody, so we got out we actually got out a PS4 and a PS2, a DualShock 2, and then a PS4 controller I think I had. I don't remember no, mine's PS3. We had two different controllers. They work just fine together on a PC because you can use any damn controller you want. I don't know. I have to emphasize that so much. So we sat down and played Broforce. I hadn't played it. Awesome. Like, ton of fun. Just mayhem. And then we also played Nidhogg. Have you played that yet?
I haven't played that.
Okay, Nidhogg is just fun. It's a different type of fun. It's just Google it later. And if you feel like jumping on later on and playing online or something, it's very fun. It's like yell. It's like, oh God, no! It's like that kind of fun where you're like screaming at the screen and like face palming a lot. So played a couple indie games like that. I had more fun with those games, and also Samurai Gun. Those little simple games that are just fun, make you scream at the screen and laugh, and you have a beer or whatever. I had more fun with that than I did with Watch Dogs. Like way more fun, like way bigger smile on my face. So, indie gaming is cool. Anyway, I think that's pretty much the end of this episode. I got nothing else to say. Inbox is back, y'all.
If you guys thought this was a terrible episode, you should go ask questions that aren't terrible in the forum.
Yeah, it's your fault. Let's put it on them. It's you bastards of asking sucky questions. It's not us. So here's how you go and ask questions. You guys can go and access a question just by going to techsyndicate.com. Does techsyndicate.com/inbox do anything? Do we make that a forward? No, page not found. I thought we made that a forward at some box. At some time. Well, maybe we can make it a forward. Anyway, you should go to forum/Inbox.exe, all one word. And then you guys can post your questions there. That's where we get our questions from. Also, Albert is now a member of the staff, so if you guys have questions about things that maybe he can answer, like cameras and gear and digital workflow, you know, that kind of stuff. He's very good with that. He's also pretty good with computer hardware, so we might have him jump in here once in a while. And, you know, he's going to be doing some computer hardware reviews because there's just a lot of stuff that I don't want to mess with. I'm like, hey, Albert, here's 4 or 5 boxes that came in. You want to do some reviews? He's like, okay. So, yeah, he'll be jumping back in and doing some product reviews as well. It'll be fun. All right, that's everything. We will see you guys in the forum.